A bad reality. Is it the blue pill or is it the red pill? Which one should you take? I don't know. Which rabbit hole should you go down? Should you go down a positive rabbit hole or a bad rabbit hole? I guess the blue pill or red pill, we should really determine that. Stay tuned next as we're going to be diving into a bad reality. And what is it all about? Well, stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to PWD Allies podcast. My name is Brent Frain. I'm the host, broadcasting to you from Victoria, British Columbia. Nice sunny morning, a little bit chilly out, but not too bad. It's fall weather, so anything can happen. Take the sunshine while you can. It really brightens the day in many ways. And joining me also is Neil Matheson from Surrey, British Columbia. Yeah, we're in the Western Province where we get ignored by the federal government. Transfer payments for provincial disability payments. But is it really all on the federal government to handle people with disabilities in their own province? Well, we're going to dive into that topic. Well, in relation to that topic, because today's topic is related to every single person across Canada, not just in British Columbia.
Yeah, it's around the whole province, right?
Yeah, it's across the whole province, across every single province in provinces and territories and maritime provinces, you name it, all the way across Canada. Because anyone will develop more disabilities in life. You're born with a disability, as I always talk about, and you're going to acquire more, no fault of your own. And are you being punished because you can't work, because you can't do what you used to be able to do, and now you have to rely on mutual aid? Now, is it the province's responsibility to take care of their own citizens, or are they saying it's the
Yes,
federal government?
yes,
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 exactly.
Brent. The answer to that is yes.
It's yes, yes. They are responsible for their own citizens in their own province. And yes, the federal government's not giving the proper
Oh,
transfer payments. However, it,
somehow, sorry,
yeah.
sorry, Brent. Somehow your desktop audio was muted.
Oh,
Crap. Let's reboot the show a little bit
okay.
here. Sorry,
Sure.
Brent. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, well, welcome everyone, and thanks for tuning in to PWD Allies podcast. My name is Brent Frain, I'm the host, and I'm broadcasting to you from Victoria, British Columbia. Nice sunny morning today, beautiful day, nice fall weather, a little bit chilly, but it's going to be a nice day. And also coming to you from Surrey, British Columbia is Neil Matheson, my editor-producer. Today,
Am I really an editor producer, Brent, or what?
we had
Which
an audio
which
problem there.
which audio producer would have left you on mute?
Left me on mute. You put duct tape across Brent's mouth.
I swear I didn't mean to do it, Brent. I didn't
You
mean to
just
do
want to
it.
put duct tape across my mouth.
Oh,
That's that.
oh well.
That's
The when nobody heard the beginning either. Well, maybe they did because maybe that wasn't on mute. But when you started the show, you were talking about the blue pill and the red pill. Of course,
yeah.
that's a talking about the Matrix,
Yeah.
and really you were talking about the good reality versus the bad reality. But in
hmm
the truth of the matter is it's both are a bad reality because the first bad reality is that the provincial governments don't support people with disabilities, and the second bad reality is because of that, we also have to rely on mutual aid. Now, both of those are a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
It comes to the provinces taking care of their own citizens. And yes, just a little bit of information for our viewers and our listeners. The federal government has the responsibility of sending, they call it transfer payments to each province and territory in Canada, meaning it could be healthcare, social assistance, payments, you name it. They're supposed to be sending the proper transfer payments to each province. Now, the provinces say, oh, well, we're not getting the proper transfer payments, or are they? And that's when the question is it the blue pill or the red pill? Now, the question is that how much transfer payments are really going to the provinces? Now, if they
mhm.
are legitimately sending the proper transfer payments, are they really going to the recipients that need it the most? Now,
Yeah.
I noticed that media and the politicians, they always say, "Oh, the most vulnerable." Well, I mean, we're talking about people that are on low income, right? I mean, seniors, people with disabilities, low income people, or they'll say the marginalized. Well, I mean, we're just citizens, right? I mean, is it a classification because you have a disability or you're a senior? Well, you're a senior with disabilities. Well, when you turn 65, oh, your disability is magically supposed to just disappear. Well, the blue pill and the red pill, they don't
Yeah.
disappear, right? And they're just pink unicorns, right? According to
You know what I was thinking about, Brent, as we were preparing for today's show.
the Mhm.
Actually, I think it was last night I was thinking about it.
Mhm.
Was Now I'm gonna date myself a little bit, and you know how when we were younger, like everybody had a Rubik's cube, and
Oh,
there's certain toys that everybody
yeah,
had. Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna mention a toy, and maybe you're gonna know it, maybe you're not. Like I think I had one too, but I know a lot of my friends had one,
Mhm.
and it was the giant inflatable, not well, I not it was like a 4 foot tall, maybe inflatable Popeye. You know, one of those punching.
Yes, yeah,
You could stand in front of it, and it was a
yeah.
giant life size. Well, it was about 4 feet tall, I think, because I mean it's
Ah, yes.
child size, right? But it was basically this inflatable Popeye thing, and you could punch it, and it would wobble and come back, and so you could punch it, right? Well, like that's what I kind of feel that the government kind of treats us like that
Mhm.
Popeye that we we're always getting like punched.
Mhm.
It's like let's beat up on the PWD. Like
Mhm.
honestly, I'm not even like I'm not saying this for clicks, and
No.
I'm not saying this to be cute. I'm saying this because it's actually a reality. Like if you think about it, remember we used to have a yearly bus pass that was
Yeah.
$45 a year, remember?
Yep.
And then they're like, "Whoops, sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess PWD don't deserve to have a yearly $45 bus pass. Whoops, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Whoops, whoops, sorry. I guess only 25% of PWD deserve a subsidized rent, and 75% don't. Whoops, sorry about that. And like only some people PWD deserve a safe housing environment, and who cares if they're hooked up by necessity with like an abusive spouse or something. Whoops, sorry about that. Like all of this stuff,
Yes.
it's like whoops, sorry, and it's like punch, 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 punch.
Mm-hmm.
We're the Popeye, we're the inflatable Popeye, and they're like punch, 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 like
Mm-hmm.
that, and
Yeah, it
and
almost reminds me of the little toy I had. Anybody who grew up, of course, again, years ago, it kind of dates our ages here, but the old Slinky. Do you remember the Slinky,
right. I
everyone? Yeah,
remember the Slinky
it
too.
reminds me of those ones. It's like pulling, well, pulling on each end, and that's what it feels like. It's like the tug of war, and then all we hear is little tidbits of information of, oh, we've raised the rates, five times,
Yeah,
or there's more to do, and always excuses. Oh, when the fiscal
yeah,
situation allows, kick the can down the road, and
yeah,
another government will deal with it, or we'll deal with it later.
yeah.
Well, the getting before we get into about the today's show about mutual aid, it kind of it relates to it, though it may be on a different topic altogether. Some people say, well, that how does that the topic that he's going to mention in just a few seconds, how is that related to PWD? Well, actually, it does, and so I'm going to kind of get your observation on this, Neil.
Hmm.
So, people that are following what's going on in British Columbia right now, we got the British Columbia General Employees Union, BCGEU. They've been on strike for 7 weeks, going on almost 8 weeks, starting Monday. Uh, yeah, now we got the PEU that has now got involved. Another the PEU, which is the Professional Employees Union, has now joined forces with the BCGU on the picket lines. Now all of a sudden the government says, "Oh, wait a minute, we're going to have to get a mediator involved now." So now the province has now reached out. It was breaking news this morning. Yeah, I had heard on the radio this morning, and well, now the province has now reached out to Vince Reddy. He's basically a historic mediator
The
who
Miracle
the
Man.
miracle man who basically tries to solve a lot of labor disputes, transit strikes, the educational strikes. I mean, you name it, he's been there. He just recently solved the last strike, which was in the Cowichan Valley transit, BC Transit bus strike that went on for 7 months.
Hmm.
Yeah, so 7 weeks versus 7 months. Now he's going to basically try to solve the problem. So the government says, oh, well, yeah, this is great, right? Let's see what happens here. So I guess in parallel, the employees are asking for an 8% wage increase. That's what the president of the BCG is asking, 8%, and the province wants to give them 3.5%, I believe it was. I mean, you can quote me if I'm wrong, but it's about 3.5%, I believe it is, over 2 years. So
Hmm.
now the BCGU, I think they're going to come down. I think that was the main one, is like you bargain down, right? So maybe they'll
Yeah.
come down to a happy medium. Again, they're on strike. So in solidarity, imagine if PWD, if we, a whole bunch of us in BC formed on the picket lines and said, okay, so are you going to stand up in solidarity for people with disabilities in BC? I wonder how that would look if they went to their captain, their negotiator, and said, "Hey, we're going to stay on strike unless you give an increase to PWD rates and show some respect and dignity to the citizens in the
Well,
province."
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something, Brent. And again, I'm not saying this for
Yeah.
clickbait, but I'm telling you something. If we all went on strike, on a
Hmm.
hunger strike,
Yeah.
out on the lawn of the
Hmm.
legislature, if we all went on a hunger strike out on the lawn, we would all die. We would
Exactly.
all die because the provincial government here and all across Canada, they don't care.
Exactly.
I think they want us dead, Brent. I think they want us dead.
Hmm.
So if we went on a hunger strike, we would all just die, and they'd be like, they'd be calling the hearses, and it's like they'd be burying us because it's like, oh well, it's like like I said with the punching bag thing,
Yeah.
it's like all this pink, like again, you can even use my my example of the clawback and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
It's like, well, sure, a pension is supposed to be a guaranteed income. Sure,
Mm.
it's supposed to be a
Supposed to be.
guaranteed income, but whoops, sorry about that. We're going to claw it back anyway.
Yeah. Anything they
Like,
want their hands on, they want to claw back. Anything.
so it's like, again, we're the big Popeye. We're the big
Yep.
inflatable Popeye, and the the provincial government's just like punch, 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 punch.
Yep.
And it's
Popeye
like,
ate our.
oh well, more work to do, more work to do.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We hear you. Yeah, we hear you. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's economic headwinds. Now that's what they call it now in BC. Economic
Yeah.
headwinds. The excuses, the reasons why not to raise rates. Oh, I can see that happening next. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, there's more to do, but we'll blame it on somebody else. That's what they're going to say. We'll blame it on somebody
Well,
else for the reasons why we didn't raise rates in 4 years. Well, that somebody else wasn't even in power 4 years ago.
but you know what, Brent?
Yeah.
They kind of, even if you don't account for the previous administration
Yeah.
provincially, they
Hmm.
basically remember their promise, their election promise this year was to pin all the hopes on the federal government.
That's right.
And
You must have been reading my mind because
yeah,
the CBC, when in British Columbia, when we had our last election, provincial election, our premier ran on the platform saying, I was looking through the whole platform very carefully, myself, Sonia, and a whole bunch of us
yeah.
in British Columbia, and I got to hear this echoed throughout the community. A whole bunch of people. I was amazed that people are looking through there that aren't even disabled. Okay, everybody. There was people in my community that don't even that well, they don't have a designated disability. They know they have disabilities that are going to impair them in life going forward. Um, so I mean, there's a lot of invisible disabilities too. Anyway, long story short is they combed through the provincial platform. Okay, for the NDP, BC NDP, and there was nothing in there about disability. Nothing. It's only thing that was related to well, maybe not even close, but was called the CDB, the Canada Disability Benefit under provincial. They're waiting on the federal government
Yeah.
because they didn't want to take responsibility about raising rates after 4 years. And technically, that for when I say 4 years, that was in 2021. That was the COVID supplement that was given to
Yeah.
each person on provincial income assistance, and seniors also got that too. So $300. And so in 2021, they left it from 300 down to 175 and said, here you go, that's a rate increase.
But
2 years later, it was
I
like
just think it's
25.
hilarious that when you're talking about the CDB,
Yeah.
that the provincial government here, the NDP here,
Hmm.
put in their provincial platform. It's the provincial
Yeah.
platform. They're pinning their provincial
And
platform on a federal benefit.
yeah, that's not even going to
Like, I
go to
mean,
everybody.
how messed up is that?
I know.
We're gonna put
Yeah.
as a star frontline thing
Yeah.
feature on our platform
Yeah. I thought
that
that
we're
would be
pinning our hopes. We're
very
pinning
strange.
our hopes on a federal benefit.
Yeah. That's not even going to go to everybody and slaughter
Again,
some.
punch, 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 right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I got all my hopes in the federal government. Meanwhile, the federal government can't even give BC the proper health care transfer payments. I mean, BC's always been left out. Doesn't matter which federal government gets in the power. BC's always been left out. And so with the provincial government getting all their hopes up on the CDB and putting it in there, well, that's like saying, wow, yeah, they're definitely going to help people with disabilities in BC with the and making sure that every single recipient who's on provincial disability in BC is automatically going to get that CDB. Well, here's newsflash, everyone. You have to get the DTC. You have
Yeah.
a precursor here, and even if you have that, there's still no guarantee that you're going to get that CDB. So the provincial running with that the platform, hoping that the federal government was going to do it the right way. I'm
Well,
sorry, but it
well,
just
let's review Brent like Captain Obvious.
yeah.
Let's do a review.
I'll get my captain.
Are you getting the CDB right now?
Nope.
Why not?
I don't qualify. I don't have a doctor, and even if I had a doctor, it would cost a lot of money to fill it out. And even then, it's not even the doctor's decision. It's actually the CRA who makes that final decision. Their doctors will.
Why do you say you don't qualify though, Brent?
I don't qualify because based on household income.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah. And
because
way that's
yeah,
right away. Even if I met any kind of qualifications, household income. And
yeah,
the federal government was told do not go with household income. It's based on individual. And again, a
yeah,
2-year-old could have wrote the script a lot better than what the federal government did. I mean, it was written properly at first, but somebody
yeah.
went in there and
Mm.
instead of pouring sugar in the ingredients, they poured salt. The whole
Yeah,
big giant bag of salt, they dumped it right in there, and they
yeah.
just,
And guess what, Brent?
hmm.
I also didn't get the CDB, so I don't get the $200 a month right now
Ah,
because
yeah,
same thing. Like apparently with my wife makes too much money.
yeah,
So it's the combined household
yeah,
income has put me over. Now, I do have the DTC. I am on provincial assistance, like just like you are on provincial
yeah,
assistance. That alone should have qualified everybody.
exactly. And it was
But
so.
apparently not because of the pink unicorn behind your head there, Brent.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was
It just
I
a whole bunch of people got disqualified for another person's income
hmm
because the governments I'm going to say governments I mean meaning both governments, the
Yep,
provincial and federal, both think that a disability an individual's disability is shared
yep,
amongst the household, and it's
yep,
not shared amongst the household. My
exactly.
disability is mine, your
Yep,
disability is yours, Sonia's disability is hers,
hmm
right? It's not something that's shared.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you could have two people in a household, and or like say have disabilities out of say there's 8 people in a household. What all 6 of them, all the other 6 are supposed to have disabilities too? well, I
Yeah.
mean, they may not be, diagnosed as
No,
having
according to the
disabilities.
government, that's how
Yeah,
they work
exactly.
it.
They pin it that way, and it should never have
Yeah.
been that way. It should be based on the
Yeah.
individual, and it's same as renting. It's because they've got BC Housing. Their criteria is still the same thing. So when it comes down, it's based on household income, and right away that
Yeah.
disqualifies a lot of people. So now people reach out to mutual aid, right? They reach
Yeah.
out because
So now we're finally
yeah,
segueing
we're
into the
segueing into it.
topic.
Well, it kind of leads right into
Yeah,
like
yeah,
about all the inequalities that the provincial and federal have pinned back and forth. It's like a little game. They're playing like a little here, little baseball here, catch, batter up,
yeah,
boom.
yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, the Toronto Blue Jays did pretty good last night. They 8-2.
I haven't been watching
Yeah,
baseball. Baseball is probably one of my least favorite sports.
yeah,
It
yeah.
just seems like they're so they're probably, I guess it's because they're just too good.
Mm.
You never see them make any mistakes. It's like throw the pitch and they either hit it or they don't.
Well, it
And it's
reminds me of
and it's like it's kind of boring.
Well, it
I
reminds
don't know.
me of
To me,
provincial
it is.
versus federal. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna throw it batter up, and you go boom. Oh, where did it go? Oh, it went out to left field. Oh, hang on. Actually, no, wait a minute. It's in the stands. Some little boy just caught it. Hey, I got the big ball. Look at this. Yeah, what did you win? Oh, can I share it with my friends? Nope, you can't share that. It's all yours because
Yeah,
this is what we did. We gave you the ball. It's like giving some to some disabled people, some
yeah,
income, some to other ones don't get it.
yeah. The have
Yeah,
and have not
yeah, and
model.
and that
Yeah,
kind of comes to the same thing as mutual aid.
yeah,
Some people are going to get some help,
yeah,
some people are not getting it, and there's
yeah.
no guarantee. It's like
But again, it's something that shouldn't even exist, really, right?
it should not exist at all.
Just like food banks shouldn't
Yeah,
exist.
yeah,
Any kind of mutual aid or charity, I mean, let's not depend on the charity model
yeah.
because it really is up to the government to step up and really care about the vulnerable, right?
Yeah, well, what it is too. I mean, it is a lot of income inequalities across our country, our beautiful country, and I'll say, yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful country. Economically, it's not beautiful at all, and I think that everyone can agree on that part. I mean, I could say it's beautiful. Yes, it is beautiful, but also on how we treat our citizens. And I don't say treat our most vulnerable. I'll just say our citizens because that's who we are. It's
Mm,
not a classification of our most vulnerable or how we treat our ultra rich or how we treat middle income or different classifications of incomes. It's how we treat people in general. And my mom always taught me, God rest her soul, which she says, Brent, do unto you as you want done unto others. Right? It's
mhm.
always that. It's always that phrase, and there's different little things that she taught me along the way of about food banks. She talked a lot about food banks, Neil, and everybody. She grew up in a time where there was no food banks. She saw them coming in as a temporary measure, as a soup kitchen. They were just there for people out of the up to the war. They needed
Mhm.
help. They needed a lot of help, and people, now, I mean, different generation. I mean, a lot of seniors at that age have either passed now or they're getting up there, but there are still some that are maybe were sons or daughters of the seniors who would remember these stories too, and they got shared down the line and passed down the line. And I really encourage people to uh, really think about, when you hear stories from seniors, like they are so smart. They get that information that's passed down to them, and they hope that other generations are going to continue sharing their stories because they're real stories, they're lived experience stories of what they went through. And my mom taught me about the Great Depression. She taught me about the Great Recession.
Mhm.
Um, it's like stretching meals as far as you can, stretching
Mhm.
not just meals, but your perishable items, non-perishable items,
Yeah.
toiletries, and people reach out for mutual aid across the different platforms, and they're going to
Well,
post their asks.
well,
And
again, and let's use yourself as an example a bit,
yeah,
Brent, because you
yeah,
do post mutual aid yourself
hmm
on Twitter,
hmm
and by doing that, let's be honest, and I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit, but
Yep.
let's be honest and say that when you post stuff out on Twitter for mutual aid, you automatically put a target on your back,
Oh yeah,
right?
for
You
sure.
automatically put a target on your back, and everybody else does too.
Yep.
And personally, that's one of the reasons why I don't do it because
Hmm.
I can't bear to have a target on my back. Like it's just, but again, that's kind of the when we talk about unfortunate reality, that's one of the unfortunate realities
Yes. Yes.
of that's a big one of mutual aid is as soon
Hmm.
as you do that,
You become very,
everybody
very
everybody
vulnerable.
that asks for something is putting a massive target on their back,
Yeah, it's
right?
because you become very vulnerable and susceptible to abuse. Um,
Yeah.
there are some awesome people out there.
There really is. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some very, very wonderful people out there that really care a lot. And the comments I get from some people are the government needs to do better. And the government, why is the government not doing better? And people that are caring, that that can care. I mean, I'm not saying people don't care, but the people that are very generous or that do care a lot, um, they say they look out for their community, they look out for their fellow citizens, but they question the government. Well, why is the government not providing enough financial support to their citizens in their province and their territories and
Yeah, but then what about the flip side, Brent? What about the
yeah,
negative comments?
the
Go
negative.
go 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 through some of those.
Yeah, some of the negative comments, and yeah, I mean, I can tell you lived experience on that. I mean, this goes back, this goes back to early of 2024, last year. I was very grateful that I mean, I had a donor, and I did a show about this, and
Mhm.
I mean, I had a donor out there, and since then, the donor had dropped off due to health reasons. Had a very good paying occupation. Unfortunately, health basically hampered the person's way of going forward. And in the industry they worked in, they couldn't continue on. Major health decline, and now the person is actually on disability assistance, permanent
Mhm.
disability. I mean, go figure. The person was able to help not just me, but a lot of other people.
Yeah, yeah,
And then all of a sudden, now the person had said, well, unfortunately, due to health reasons and other issues, they could not go forward. To me, it was a real, um, I guess, a joy of thank you, like thank you for the
hmm
patronage, thank you for the help. Um, but at the same time, it was a sorrow. Like it was a sorrow to me because again, I thought, well, the government, they should be doing their part of taking care of the citizens, not relying on somebody else that maybe a donor is going to come forward and help them out. Well, what
hmm
the donor did was they actually had taken care of a vacation for Sonia and I because you know why? Because they really appreciated the person really appreciated all the advocacy, all the hard work that we're doing and holding the government to account on our show of bringing people with lived experience on and just doing our part as citizens of Canada, of British Columbia, and well, of Canada. And basically, I guess the person really loved what we're doing, and that was their way of saying, like, this is what I want to do. And yes, I mean, sure, we used some of our GSTs. We saved up birthday money, GST,
hmm
any kind of credit payments, just for any extra, maybe some souvenirs, maybe a few little bit of food here and there. But our main travel thing was paid for,
Yeah,
and
and
I
so
got hundred.
this is a great gift, right?
Yeah, it was a
And
great
and
gift.
and and there was a few people out there that really just crapped on it.
Oh, they
Kind
done
of kind of
for.
like, well, you and Sonia, you Brent and Sonia, you're living large,
Oh,
like
you're living large.
and all this
Yeah,
kind
you're living
of this.
large, and you're going on a train, and you're traveling,
Yeah,
and all this accommodation, and the
yeah,
person just vomited it all over.
yeah.
I actually had, and like the bad news, I actually had a couple people who had reached out to me, and said, well, if this person is posting this out here, it must be true that I can't help you going forward, and I'm not going to help you. And I thought, well,
Well,
hell, I mean,
not even that. I remember you talking to me
yeah,
about donors that wanted to stay connected to you,
Yes.
but felt that they felt kind of they were put in an awkward position
Yes.
because of all the blowback. They thought, well, if
Yeah.
I continue supporting, then I'm going to face all this blowback too.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, even though they wanted to stay connected, they walked back too because they're
Yeah.
like, I don't want to put up with all this crap, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and then I mean, as some people would know on Twitter, they it was used to call it Twitter. Now it's called X. I still call it
Yeah.
Twitter. I mean, people will like and they'll like and they'll repost your post, or it's called share. Retweet. I always go with the old terminology.
Yeah.
And people would say, is this their indication of saying like, yeah, like the person would acknowledge saying, yeah, like thank you, I received it, they'll like it. Well, it got to a
Mhm.
point where some people they weren't liking it because they were scared. Oh, geez, I don't want to get attacked. And I mean, thanks
Exactly.
for sharing
Yeah.
that information, because it's
Yeah.
true that some people would privately they'll say, well, I don't want to be part of the blowback, so they send me a direct message. Well, then all of a sudden Twitter starts having glitches. You can't send a direct message to that person. Sometimes it would work, other
Yeah.
times not.
Yeah.
So then I would get emails instead. I would say, okay, well, you know what? If there's a glitch, send an email and we'll communicate that way. Well, that's great. And I always encourage people, though, and going forward. I mean, this is based on my experience. I've had some lovely people send some stuff through Amazon wish list. Other surprises that have come along the way, unexpected. People are like, wow, okay, why are you sending stuff? But you know what? I mean, if people want to send stuff, then they want to send stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it may be some people they don't communicate back because they just, maybe they just don't want to communicate back because they're thankful for what they get, but they don't want the praise to saying like keep that conversation going.
Mhm.
Or there's just things in life that it just I don't know it kind of agitates people, should we say? Like it might put them into an awkward position, feeling that they need to continue that support going forward.
Yeah.
I always say to people that if you want to help, then help. Because like I've had comments under
It's a
posts.
very divisive thing though, right? I mean,
It, it
you got
is,
people on both sides saying like how dare you
yeah,
or and other people are saying of course you need it.
yeah. Well,
What
exactly.
one thing
Yeah, 'cause I mean,
Sorry,
like,
one thing I was going to say, Brent,
sure,
sorry,
yeah.
is the whole government thing of well, just get a job is kind
Oh,
of
oh,
very similar to what you some of the public thinks too. And I'm going to mention Minnie Sinclair. I mean, I don't know if she's going to be watching this later, but she's a friend of ours from the podcast. She's been
mhm,
on the podcast lots,
mhm,
and she's from Ontario, and I've seen her post on Twitter recently.
yes,
She's had, some fairly significant flare-ups of her MS, of her MS, right?
yeah,
And and so she's saying that she's really had to like scale back. Like she's always talking about that she needs to work and she wants to work to earn that extra little bit of money. But in the last little while, apparently her flare-ups of her MS have been so bad that
yes,
she hasn't been able to work. And so she's really feeling the pressure now.
yeah,
And so there's people out there saying, well, come on, just keep working, Minnie. Like, what's the big deal?
hmm hmm
And I'm sorry, sometimes your body just says, you know what? I can't do it. I can't do it. I
yeah.
can't do it.
Well, that's exactly it. It's the mind. The mind may say yes, and the body says absolutely no. And I can tell you based on my own, I mean, and I only speak for myself on it because everybody's disabilities are different. I mean, I could have people in my community or in the province or anywhere in the Canada who could have almost the same eye condition as me, but it's different severities of how it impacts your physical health and your mobility. Your aptitudes on like your perception on how far you can see, how far you can read things, how far is your balance off. I mean, and yes, it can throw your balance off. I mean, with my eye condition, it does throw my balance off too, because of perception sometimes. So I'm actually pretty good navigating downstairs, but depending on what angle they are at, my perception can really get thrown off. so I have to be really careful. I mean, that's the last thing I want to do is do a somersault. I don't think that would be too good. Downstairs, be like a slinky, right? Yeah, I had to kind of, throw some kind of funny little quirk in there for myself, but I have had that happen before, just on a couple stairs down, and I lost my perception, and yeah,
I fell down 2 flights of stairs
yeah,
in grade 8.
yeah.
Uh,
I did that
and
in
that
high
was
school. Yeah,
yeah.
I was going down a stairwell in my high school, and I don't know what happened. I mean, I saw the stairs, and for some reason, I thought it was the first day, last stair, but it was actually three stairs. And
Hmm.
yeah, down, and next thing I know, I guess I blacked out for a second, and some people were standing above, going, "Hi, are you okay? How? What? How am I? Why am I laying down here?" Yeah,
Yeah.
so you tripped and you fell, and yeah. Anyway, so long story short is that disabilities can have different impairments on a person, over time, and maybe other severities. And there's no right or wrong way in life. You
Yeah.
have to work with it the best way you can, and because that's who you are.
And we
Yeah,
do,
and
because
for me, I
because
love me.
we know our bodies best,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I love me for me,
Yeah.
and I would never change myself for nobody. I wouldn't
Mhm.
change myself for government. The government says, "Oh, I want you healed, though. I want you 100% healed.
Yeah.
I want you getting, want more income. You got to get out there and get the job." And
Yeah.
we have the time when David Eby was our premier, was on the radio at CKNW 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and he took questions and phoned up. Well, in case you want, if you want more income, in other words, if you're not sure about the income, the earnings exemptions, we have raised the rate on the earnings exemptions. Well, that's not why I was calling in. I mean, the calling in is, well, my corporate landlord wanted to know why I'm not getting a rate increase by the provincial government, because I got a rate increase by my corporate landlord, and also wanted to know why that they hadn't raised our rates. Well, David
Yeah.
Eby's response, well, yeah, well, because you got to get a job. That's why you want more money. Well, I'm sorry. Every time I turn around, they're hiring new government appointees inside his own office, hundreds and
Yeah.
thousands of dollars. Hire them and fire them and hire them and fire them. Give all the MLAs, 47 of them, $60,000 right as soon as they got elected. All his ministerial staff,
Yeah.
another $18,000. I mean, wow! Like,
So they got all the
and
jobs.
now meanwhile,
They
the
got all
government
the
says they're
jobs.
broke, right?
Yeah.
Oh well, but they said they're broke. But then this morning, oh, they got a new accessibility team, Neil. Five new
Yeah.
people on a
Yeah.
panel.
Yeah.
That's going to cost a few dollars, but I thought the government's broke.
Yeah.
Well, what
Yeah.
about the BCGU employees? Oh, I don't know how that's going to work because the government says they're broke. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. Every time I turn around, they keep spending more money. Yeah, how
Yeah.
does that work? I mean, if I were to say to my corporate landlord right now, I'm sorry, I'm broke. My bills come first. I got to put food on my table. Guess what would happen, government? I'd be on the street, right? Right? Yeah.
Hmm.
And then I'd go to a park in a tent. Oh, you can't be here. You're on public land. You got to go. You know what I mean? I always say keep people housed, give them the dignity and the respect, give them the proper financial means. And if you say the government's so broke, I've got a solution. Go after the billionaires, tax the billionaires. I mean, we
Well,
live in a wealthy country.
well,
There's no use.
yeah, and it's not only that, Brent. I mean, and it's hard for me to just give a blanket statement here because
Yeah,
but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try anyway.
yeah.
Is that like I know if I had a chance to kind of go through the books and to see all of the kind of pet projects that David Eby has and other
Mhm.
premiers before him, like
Yeah.
every premier has his or her own pet projects, right?
Oh, yeah, for
and 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 you just wonder, like, for example, like all this safe supply crap,
sure. Oh
how
my
much
gosh.
money
Billions,
blown
billions.
is being blown just on all the safe supply crap.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure it's like you said, billions of billions,
Oh,
right?
yeah. And that's why our provincial debt is being ballooned. And also, too, is the upper management. I mean, you've got a lot of CEOs in
Yeah.
our healthcare system. I heard that,
Managers of managers of managers.
yeah, I heard
Yeah.
that there was some doctors who came forward, and they even said the same thing now, that for every employee, there's one manager for three employees. And
Yeah.
be for about 5 employees. I mean,
Yeah.
upper management, they're well taken care of. I mean, do they
Yeah.
need all that bureaucratic, garbage up the top? And I'm
Yeah.
not saying they're not bad. They're terrible people. They're probably some really nice people.
Yeah.
But why do they need so many of them? They don't. And it's
Yeah.
just about filling the coffers, right? It's yeah, and it's bloating
Well,
the
and even again, we're getting a little bit off topic maybe, but even that something
it's
like
pretty close to about mutual aid though. It's still of
yeah, I was gonna say the food banks is
yeah,
the same thing
yeah,
where you have food banks and you have the CEOs of food banks
yeah,
making a quarter of $1 million just
yeah,
to dispense food.
and it's the same
Yeah,
CEOs who basically they'll make policies within there. So you'll show up to the food bank. Okay,
yeah,
can you show me your household income, please, as
yeah,
a precursor? So you show your household income. Yeah. Okay, so you're making too much money. You're making too much money. Your
yeah.
household income again. You may look out in some food banks, and there are some food banks that yes, they they're not going to be picky on that. So they're going to say you need help, we'll give you help. But there's
Yeah.
other ones who actually will follow by those guidelines. And
Hmm.
if you do follow by the guidelines, food banks are not always the solution of end all because you don't always get all the nutritional food that you need. You can
Yeah.
get expired food. You can get food that is it's just not even consumable.
Well,
It's
it's like we'll choose the food
yes,
you can choose from,
exactly.
right?
Yes,
Right? So it's just like you're limiting choices because you've
yep,
already got somebody saying, "Well, here's the food that we're going to stock."
yeah,
So we're limiting your choice
yeah.
and then you get to choose from that limited choice,
Yeah,
right?
and if you don't want that food that's there, well, then now they'll say, well, now you're being too picky. You take what
Yeah.
you get.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I've gone. I mean, years ago, I went to this one food bank and they had white bread. Wow, Wonder Bread, right? Wonder Bread
Hmm.
sitting on there, and they had a couple loaves of brown bread. Well, there was a couple people in front of me that got the brown bread. There was Wonder Bread left, white bread. Well, I might as well just go and eat a box of macaroni because yeah, like I'm gonna fill up more on macaroni than I am a loaf of bread.
Hmm.
I mean, it's there's no nutritional value in the white bread. Sure, I can. I mean, and I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me on this one. And I'm not promoting white bread or Wonder Bread or any kind of company that's white, but white bread, it does make a very good grilled cheese. I must say, yes, white bread does make a very good grilled cheese sandwich. Yeah,
Well,
but
you know what? Like again, if I had the choice of Wonder Bread or some other type of bread,
mhm.
I wouldn't take just regular white bread anymore because
No,
actually my stomach can't even handle it. My
no,
stomach can't handle white bread anymore.
yeah.
So like the only bread that I can really tolerate well is like a sourdough. For whatever reason, my
Yeah.
stomach can tolerate a sourdough bread.
Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of because I know one thing is there's a lot of different grains that are actually in the brown bread that might be
Hmm.
interfering, give you stomach problems. I know myself, there's certain brown bread that I eat,
Well, no,
uh,
but I'm not even talking about brown bread. I'm just talking about the
or any kind of bread.
normal white bread I can't even have.
Yeah, but
So
it
that's
gives
why I
me
have sourdough, which is a form of white bread, but it's got some other, I don't know, some
there's
other kind of growth. What
there's
is
different
that?
ingredients inside.
That kind of that good bacteria in the bread that somehow aids my digestion little bit better than normal white bread
Yeah,
does.
I mean, it causes me a lot of gastro gas buildup, and it really
Hmm.
upsets my stomach and many things that I eat. I mean, so I have to be picky and choosy sometimes on what I eat. And I mean, so a food bank is not always the best remedy. I mean, I had a comment from a post I had on social media. I had to delete it. Like, it was some really terrible comment of saying, well, why don't you go to the food bank? And it says, stop begging people for help. And I said, well, I said, how does that work for you? I remember commenting, I said, how does that work for you? I said, you could be in the same boat. And I said, if you're not, you will be in one form in life or another, because it does happen to anybody. I said, oh,
Hmm.
well, wait a minute, you must be a privileged person, but that privilege can be taken away. I guess, and my point of the matter is, like, if you want to help somebody, be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Like if
Yeah.
you see somebody down and out and saying, "Hey, I need help," there's a reason why. I mean, and I can tell you, there's millions of people right now across our country that post on the social media. I see a lot of the same posts because they follow me. There's other people that are not following me that I see them now reaching out for help. I've seen doctors reaching out for help.
Mhm.
Doctors, people,
Yeah.
doctors who are now retired, but they're now reaching out for help. There was one doctor who had lost his wife.
Mhm.
He lost his home. He couldn't make his payments
Yeah.
any longer. He's now retired. He needs help. He
Yeah.
can't afford his home. And guess where he's living? He's living in a shelter. He's living
Oh,
in a
wow.
shelter, people, and
Yeah.
in a doctor. So when government says, "Oh, well, it's just people just let's just go and get a job, go and get a job." Well, you know what? This guy, he had messaged me and he says, thank you for all your advocacy that you are doing. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Hold the government to account. And well, I said to him, and I'll quote what I said. I said, I find it very disrespectful of the government running with a narrative. And he says, it's just a political narrative. He says, don't
Mhm.
take it personally. It's to gain political points to make it look like what they're doing is a good thing to their stakeholders. And the stakeholders, if that's what the government wants to try to do is to make it look good to your stakeholders, it's not working. Because now you're getting people who were in the professional industry that are now hurting and asking for mutual aid help.
Yeah.
There's so many people that I would love to be retweeting and liking their posts or quote tweeting.
Yeah, but then you're gonna get attacked if you do
I get
that.
attacked, and at the same
Yeah.
time, I can't keep up with all of them. Like I
Yeah.
want to, but I want people to realize and understand. Like what I'm saying is, I see your posts and just know that if I miss your post of retweeting or liking your post, it's not that I mean to not like it or retweet it. It's that sometimes I have a lot going on in my life right now too, and I try to keep up with retweeting and liking and quote tweeting. But then I get attacked too because then it's like saying, "Well, you're asking for help, you need help," but you're hoping that maybe retweeting and liking somebody else's post is going to actually amplify your need for help. I always say, government, like help everybody. Tax the ultra rich. It's not difficult. It's like one of our guests that we've had on from time to time, and I'd love to get him on again very soon. It's the founder of Disability Action of Canada,
Mhm.
Mr. Jeff Leggett.
Mhm.
A very good friend of ours, of Sonia's and mine and yours, Neil, and many others. Jeff means a world to us. His advocacy because he holds the government to account too,
Yeah.
in many ways, and he says no less than poverty level financial support, and it's shocking that the federal government loves to run with the market basket measure and not the LICO for the provinces. When I found that out in a meeting in British Columbia at our legislature a couple of years ago with Sonia, Jeff, and myself, we were told that the provincial government of BC is going to run with the market basket measure because
Mhm.
the federal government, that's what they want to do. Well, just because they want to do that doesn't mean that the province has to do that because the market basket measure is lower than what the
Yeah.
LICO formula is.
Well, of course you're gonna want to go with the
Yeah,
lower amount,
but
no,
but
Brent.
but everybody, I want you to know what the LICO formula, what the federal government goes with. They go with that one formula, not for the provinces though. The LICO
Mhm.
formula, they go with that for new immigrants that are coming to Canada.
Yeah.
They're giving them that LICO formula, but everybody else is the
Yeah.
MBM, which is way below. And we're not even getting the MBM in the provinces for people on disability assistance. We're well below that MBM. So even if we
Yeah.
were to get the rates up to that level, yes, it would definitely would help. That would be a start, but it should be no less than that. It should actually be greater. But if we can get it up to at least up to the market basket measure in every
Yeah.
province and tie it to the rate of inflation, like the cost of living COLA,
Yeah.
COLA, if
Yeah.
we at least, I mean terminology, but if we can get it to
I
that,
like cola.
yeah, cola. I think who doesn't like cola? Yeah. I mean root beer. I mean take your pick of flavor. But if we can get it up to that level, I mean government loves cola because they can take care of themselves, no problem, right? And they
Yeah.
love pink unicorns too. But if we can get it to that level and also give a rate increase each year, and also for seniors, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't forget about the equation of seniors that have disabilities. They live in a quiet, like they're quietly
But
living.
apparently, Brent, when you turn 65,
You're supposed to not have disabilities. And
government says when you turn 65, your disabilities go away.
apparently, yeah, I know it's like a pink unicorn. They just
Yeah.
poof, it's gone.
Yeah.
So
You
when it,
know, I did want to say, I just wanted to do a shout out. We have Cassandra in
oh,
chat.
hey, Cassandra. Ah,
We haven't seen her for a
wow.
long time. So she was saying she wants to come on
Yeah, I'd love to have
and
you
give
on.
the lay of the land in Alberta, what's going on there. So
Cassandra,
we'll
I
definitely have her on soon.
definitely Cassandra. I've seen all the BS going on there from your premiere in Alberta.
But I do like that Daniel Smith is holding David Eby to account.
yeah.
Honestly, because I like David Eby's a bit of a joke, in my
Well,
opinion, in my humble opinion.
well,
So
it just
I am glad that Daniel Smith is kind of showing David Eby the ropes a little bit.
yeah, it's just the only thing that's bothering me is about how Daniel Smith wants to claw off $200 this ADP.
That is not a good look for
Yeah,
sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, they're forcing them to apply for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the recipient knows that they're not going to qualify based on household income and other criteria, because
Mhm.
the CRA even they'll use their doctors. I mean, they'll use every excuse not to basically get that money to people. And if you do get it, I mean, great, that's awesome. But the fact is that Alberta, they're expecting PWD to basically apply for it. And when you do get it, the government says we're going to keep that. So and you don't
Yeah.
get it, and if you don't, they're going to take it off your regular
Yeah.
amount. So the reason why
Well,
it's rates.
yeah, and I did want to. We're almost at the end of the episode here, Brent. But I wanted to kind of circle back to your comment that you said you know a doctor that is now like homeless
Well,
or in a shelter,
in
you
a
know.
seniors, yeah, it's it's basically in a transition of
Yeah.
getting more of a subsidized
And
housing, but there's a lot more.
and you said it was because he had his wife pass away and he couldn't afford his house anymore. Well, again, I mean, I I never want the whole show to be about me, but I just wanted to
No,
finish off on that is exactly what happened in my case. Like
yeah,
I'm not as old as this doctor is probably, but I had my wife pass away 12 years ago, and it's only like by the grace of God that I am still able to afford this place because
the
I
guy's
can.
73, by the way. He's 73.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
I'm not quite there yet, but but like
yeah,
I don't say this lightly, but honestly, especially for those first 2 years where my wife is gone,
yeah.
like the government tried they tried their damnedest to take my house away from me. Like
Mhm.
they didn't care. They didn't care if I was going to be homeless. So I was scratching and clawing and doing everything I possibly could
Mhm.
to keep my place. And there were so many times where I almost lost it. There were so many times where I almost lost my place. And I know the government would be like, "Oh well, that's too bad. Oh well." Like we're
Yeah,
saying that with the Popeye, we're going back to the
yeah,
Popeye again. The punch,
yeah,
punch, punch. Oh well, too bad. You
yeah.
can't
Too bad,
afford
too
your
bad.
place.
Yeah,
Too bad. You're gone. And it's only by, like I said, it's only by the grace of God that I was able to stay where I was. It was no help. Like the government, especially for those first 2 years.
oh,
I've told you before, for the first 2 years,
they put your life through
um,
living hell and beyond.
the first 2 years were awful because the government was only giving me it was a few dollars less. It was a few dollars less of than $400 a month of
Oh,
provincial support. They were clawing everything else
oh,
back.
oh,
I
yeah.
had I had less than $400 a month of provincial support, and they said, "Well, that's fair. That's fair for a widower that just lost his spouse, and he's got a son, a
Wow,
disabled widower that has a son. That's okay. Well, we'll just give you $400 a month. You can do it. You can handle with that, right, Neil? You
wow.
can do with that.
And
So like, and if you lose your house, oh well." Oh well, you'll just be homeless. Oh well, and the house that your son has, he has the security and safety of living like staying in the community that he knows, of the neighborhood that
Yeah,
he knows, all the kids that he knows, all the teachers he knows,
exactly.
the school that he knows. Like my mother-in-law was like 2 minutes away from my condo. Like all
Yeah.
that support system. If I had lost my condo, it would have been, oh well, too bad you have to move to
Yeah.
maybe I would have had to move to Victoria and
Hmm.
been like way far away from a huge support
Yeah.
network for me, and it's like, oh well, punch 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 punch
Yeah.
punch punch.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I'll kind of piggyback off of that comment. I remember, well, we were living in Langley and we lived in a brand new place. I mean, Sonia and I saw it getting built. We were living in an older apartment at the time. It The condition was worse. I mean, if people can relate to that, the condition of the building that we lived in was worse than where we are right now. And we complain a lot about our neighbor upstairs, and we got old flooring in this place, and it's like crackles every time somebody moves. You can hear crack, crackle, crackle, crackle. Oh, they've gone into the bedroom. Oh, they're back in the dining room. They're in the kitchen. Everywhere you walk, like I mean, everywhere they walk upstairs. And if they drop something, it amplifies the sound. Or they roll something on the floor, and it's just, oh, it's crazy. But the condition where what we had, where in Langley at an older place, people were doing their drugs, they were doing nonstop. Like it was, we were getting it hammered from all angles, from every floor up. And wind current go up, they would stand outside, and you couldn't even open up the doors half the time. You could have to close the door. It was terrible, and management thought, well, if you don't like it, move, right? Well, we did. We started looking around, but we would have had to break our lease, right? But we didn't know that at the time. They said, well, liquid damages. And I said, well, I'm not going to spill anything on the floor or damage anything. No, 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 no. It's called liquid damages clause. Is that if you break a lease, that's what you pay, the penalty. Oh, I said, oh, okay. Well, no, no, we don't want to pay that. No, no, no. We'll tough it out. Well, we toughed it out right to the very end. Anyway, a management did a walkthrough of our place, and everyone who rents in market housing, you know about the walkthrough. Make sure the place is spick and span. You can have a list of cleaning things that you got to do. Clean the hoods of the stove. That's always fun to do. All the grease buildup and stuff. But we didn't have that because we had a different kind of stove in there, so we didn't even there was nothing to really use. It was one of those ones that had no back end to them. It's just a flat, there's no back end. It was kind of weird, but that thing kept burning pizza anyway, so that thing was garbage anyway, that stove. Yeah. So anyway, but the manager came through and opened up our fridge. We had cleaned it out. She opened it up. She says, "Oh my God, what is that stench?" And she goes, "Oh my, that's terrible." And Sonia pointed, "That's from downstairs." Downstairs. Yep, it was floating up. It got inside our fridge. It stunk our fridge out, and we couldn't
Oh
figure
wow.
out why our stuff was smelling really like a strange smell. We started had to keep throwing food out, food out. We would kind of get it fresh right away, eat it.
Yeah.
Non-perishable stuff was fine. It didn't get that. But long story short is, so we ended up moving to a new place. We saw it getting built, and it was a place we called home because the community that I grew up in, Sonia grew up around there because her grandma and grandpa lived in the community, so she knew the area extremely well. I used to come ride my bike or take the bus downtown. Sometimes I'd even walk downtown. It took me a lot longer to walk down, but nice, great sunny day. Yeah, put some headphones on. Nice rural, quiet country road, and just it was nice, right? Get your exercise in, and just kind of just tune things out around you. My mom would be on my case, so I'd say, I'm going downtown, and fine. I made like, fine, get out of here when you're back in time for dinner. Yeah, whatever. I said, I just wanted to go, and yeah, I mean, you just want to have your own time. So I'd go downtown Langley, and I see, a lot of these old places that were around, and I visualize, well, would I ever live in that place? Oh, I don't know. One of them I did. And there was another place that there was houses, and then a decade later, apartment building got built. So we saw it getting built, and we thought, wouldn't that be nice to live in this brand new place? Well, we applied, we got it, right? And
Mm.
I told the story about this before, but that's kind of when mutual aid started. Like we found that it was we lost our one unit because again the management that person was a little corrupt. Cleared
Mm.
out 2 floors of the building right in the dead of winter. Well, you break a lease, you can go, but good luck trying to find somewhere. We have to give you a 30 days notice in, or take another unit in the building and have a clause in place where I'm going to give it to you for higher rent, but you're going to be paying that at the end. But we'll make a deal with you in the meantime, right? But anyway,
Mm.
our rent was still elevated. We thought, okay, we're still going to make it do because we got $300 from COVID supplement. Good, we can still do this. And then at the same time, we had been told by Mr. Horgan when he was our premier that we could not reveal what was going to happen with that, right? And so I told the
Mm.
story about that before.
Mm.
So yeah, 175 we got to keep out of it. Long story short, 2 years later in 2023, we got the 125 back only if your rent had increased. So we had to make that 175 last, and we knew that our rent was now higher, and it was going to be even higher when because we had a clause in place that when you and that was part of our agreement, like say, yeah, we'll give you this unit, but the unit's actually renting for more, but we're going to give it to you for this. Okay,
Mm.
so we were paying a lot more, equivalent to actually it was more than the 175 increase of the COVID supplement that was left over. So this gives people an idea of like it gobbled that money up. So you can imagine our fear was that getting taken away. So we had to make a decision. Well, we're going to have to move to Victoria. Sonia found a place here, so we moved. We looked everywhere in the valley. Nothing was available when we needed it, and we
Mm.
found a place here. And it's never really felt like home. We're now we're stuck where we are because the housing crisis that the government refuses to raise our rents. So now we have to rely on mutual aid, and we started looking at mutual aid when we were living in Langley slowly.
Mm. Mm.
It was great. I mean, like when I say great, it was great. The generosity at the time, the economy was doing a lot better. Income wise, for us, it wasn't better because we were paying high rent. So we really didn't get the benefit of it. If I had turned the clock back and knew that that was going to happen, I would not have moved in there, right? We could have been paying a lot cheaper rent somewhere else,
Yeah.
and with any increase, we would have been like, "Wow, this is great!" Like it'd be almost like equivalent of the government raising our rates now to what they should be at, no less than poverty level financial support. It maybe not quite, but the buying power. And so when people have to rely on mutual aid to get by, there's a problem in our society where if people from all walks of life, parents with children, I look at it as help them first. And I see that in food bank lineups. I hear about all the time. And the idea of standing in a lineup at a food bank and then knowing that it's going to take away food from a child, I don't, yeah, I can't do that. Like for
Mm.
me, I guess some people would say, well, you got to do what you got to do. But I always think in my mind, what my mom said is that if you desperately, like if it's the last thing that you have to do, look at the food bank, right?
Mm.
Exhaust all other avenues first. Then,
Yeah.
otherwise it's like taking the food away from a child, right? I
Yeah.
know growing up that way how it felt. And so I always remember back, it's like, no, food bank should not be something a go-to place. It's an all-time high now. Record food bank recipients are coming in. They are bombarded with the amount of people that are coming in. They're having to turn them away at times or have them on a waiting list so they can get more stock in. At our local Save On Foods that we have, Neil, I've seen the supplies of a bin that normally people will donate food there. I've seen the number of items in there dwindled down a lot
Mm.
further than they used to be.
Yeah.
And that tells me that people are not able to afford
Mm.
a lot of the items that they used to be able to get to help people. Again, it doesn't have to be this way, government. Like you can do it. It's just that political will, and I don't know why you can't go and tax the multi-billionaires. Like
Well,
they won't
uh,
even feel it. They won't.
yeah, and well, again, this is another Captain Obvious thing, but if
Yeah,
you see an overworked food bank,
yeah,
that's a telltale sign of a policy failure
yep,
in government, right?
Yeah,
So
from all levels.
I mean for like I actually hate it when I like you I remember seeing again I'll do a shout out to like a bad shout out to Michelle Stillwell,
Mhm.
our one of our ex MLAs here in
Yeah.
BC. Again, she was a disabled Paralympian
Mm.
in a wheelchair, and she did all kinds of weird media things where like always with her medals, like she's always holding up her
Mhm.
like look at me, look at my shiny medal. But she would do it like at food banks and stuff, and she said, "Well,
Yeah.
isn't this food bank great?" Or and then she'd go to like the orphans fund thing at Christmas, and isn't this orphans fund thing? I mean, I'm not gonna shit all over the orphans thing, like,
No, I know.
but you know what I mean? But it's like, you know, all these things about, well, isn't this food bank great? Isn't this great? Is all these charities, aren't they great? Well, like if government is having to prop up and say,
Yeah.
isn't all these charities great? I mean, doesn't that like isn't that a little bit
It
shameful?
it's
Like
definitely.
that should be egg in the face for government to say we have to depend on charity
Hmm.
because we're too stupid
Hmm.
or
To provide
incapable
for our.
or whatever word you want to use. Maybe I shouldn't say stupid, but we're too incapable and stubborn or whatever to do what we're supposed to do, which is to look after the most vulnerable,
Yeah.
right?
Well, they're being, yeah. I think you nailed it there on the word stubborn. I think that'd be a good word that we could run with. There is the government is they're being stubborn. They know the right from wrong.
Yeah.
My mom used to always say, my dad used to say to me, Brent, you know right from wrong. And like there was one of my school friends who lived about what's it, 5 doors down from where I lived. He would have an orange, yeah, like a little orange box, drink box, and
Mm.
I would have a grape. I'd have a grape, and so he looked there, and he's there, and I turned around and I switched it around. I switched it around, and so I wanted that, and he's, hey, that's mine. I didn't open it up, and he goes, I'm going to go tell my mom. And what? And yeah, but I was just being funny. Like I wasn't gonna drink his drink. I was just being funny. Like I switched around.
Yeah.
Well, the ripple effect. The ripple effect was it came down, and my dad, when my dad was living at my mom's house, I still remember that. And he says, "Why would you do that?" And I didn't know what he was talking. Because I didn't know that the neighbor had already phoned. What?
Mm.
Why would you do that? Why would I do what? You know what I'm talking about. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Why would you switch drink boxes with your friend? And I said, oh, how did you know that? He goes, because the walls have ears. He said, my dad goes, the walls have ears. And I said, well, so anyway, I guess the point of the matter is that when things make sense, if it's good, you leave it alone, right? I was just having a little fun time with my friend, and it caused a whole ripple effect. So the fact is that when the system's not broken, don't fix it. But when the system is broken, fix it. So when the food banks, people were having to rely on mutual aid and food banks and other means to reach out and keep asking for help all the time. We know we've got a complete system failure. And
Mm.
again, I kind of wave back to what my mom said when soup kitchens first came out, that the food banks weren't there. They started coming out a little bit as an independent to little stores to help people, and that was fine. And that's nothing wrong with non charitable ones, like non-charitable, like they're not sponsored by government. They're like churches. They're there to help people.
Mhm.
Great. I mean, I've gone there. I've gone to a soup kitchen, and I think that was perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Sonia, you can vouch for it, right? I mean, we went to the one in Nanaimo. There was
Yeah.
this one church lived right
Yeah,
here.
there's some really good community
Yeah,
kitchen
like we
ones.
had one
Yeah.
right behind our apartment building that we lived
Yeah.
in, like literally right behind. And there was a lady that I know, and Sonia and myself know, that live in the same building that we moved out of. She said, "Hey, the building just got sold." What? Yeah. So I guess we're going to want to redevelop the area. That's sad because a soup kitchen was in there, and it actually helped the school students. They would
Mhm.
come from school and they would come up there during lunchtime, and it wasn't every day. It was they had set days for them to do the soup kitchen, It was every second day. For a while though, they were doing it every day, but then they started spreading it out to every other week. It was every second day. It was awesome. Soup, sandwich, a glass of milk or juice, tea, coffee, just for anybody else that's not, I mean, if they wanted it, it's there. And you also got a little dessert. Nothing extravagant. Like if it was apple crumble, like they would make homemade apple crumble or whatever it was, a piece of pie. I mean, yeah, like it was there. And it was no questions asked. Anybody in the community, you didn't have to basically say, well, I'm low income. If you wanted it, it was there. It was no questions asked. You didn't have to prove household income or anything like that to get it.
Barrier free, barrier free,
Barrier
right?
free.
Yeah.
And that's where I have no problem with that. Well, I have a problem where is that when people have to depend on a food bank or mutual aid, um, and because the government can fix these problems, it is a political decision. It is a policy within government, legislative policy. Change it. We've told you how to do it, and you just don't have that political will to do it. I don't know why. Like, why all these excuses? If your stakeholders are telling you to do this, they're fired. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, whoever's telling you not to do it, they're fired. I mean, and the
Yeah.
citizens are going to stand up. Like, if you don't believe it, you watch what's going to happen. You're going to start seeing a lot more problems in our society. More homeless people. It keeps accumulating more. You're going to get more problems on the streets. I don't want to see
I always think of the three monkeys,
problems.
the monkeys
Yeah,
that are doing this or
yeah,
this
yeah,
or this,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that.
That's where
And
it,
but
yeah,
it's true that
very true.
government is like that sometimes.
Yeah, because they
Or
know the truth,
yeah,
though.
yeah,
Yeah, and working for the government many years ago, um, like it's just like so much different waste of different of policies that I thought, wow, like I mean, for me, I was like so young. I'm going, hey, wow, this is great. I mean, I'm making a really good income here, and I knew it was temporarily, so I was smart. I dogpiled away. They said, oh, well, where are you going to go on vacation? That was the first thing one of my managers at where I was working. So what are you going to be doing after? I go, well, this is only permanent summer employment, right? I was filling in, and I did numerous summers, and that was the a contract I had. I said, well, when I'm done here, I'm going back to my regular job. I took a leave of absence, and I go back to my regular employment. Oh, okay. But what are you going to do? You're going to go on a holiday before you go back? No, I'm going to go and buy myself a bicycle. I'm going to send my mom on a holiday because she really wants to go visit her relatives and she doesn't have enough money. She's working around the clock. She works three part-time jobs and one full-time job. Oh my God. And I couldn't believe it. And that was when the buying power was there, but she had to take care of, household rent, her hobby farm for pet food, and you name it. And it came down to she didn't need mutual aid. Nope, she didn't have. My mom was not on welfare. She wasn't on disability. She wasn't on a senior's pension. No, nothing. She had different disabilities as she got older that impaired her condition, and unfortunately, it took a toll on her. Her body, wore out. Her mind kept telling her, "Yeah, go, go, go," and she kept pushing herself, and it actually escalated it. It came to a point where, of course, our owner of the house sold it, and then my mom's cognitive condition
I was gonna
declined.
say, what time is it, Brent?
It is now 11:11, and it
Time
is
to
now
punch
time
out.
to clock out. So again, anyone who wants to help on mutual aid, if you see somebody who needs help, until the government actually raises the disability rates in every province and territory. There's no excuses anymore. You need to immediately raise the rates. So in 2026 budgets for all the provinces and territories across Canada, I want to see, as a fellow disabled person, as a citizen of Canada, show us that we are citizens of Canada by actually recognizing that you yourself can also have a disability. If you are privileged and taken care of in Parliament, that's great. But if you are not, you will develop. You still will get disabilities, but you're taken care of financially right now. Just take care of your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your fathers, your uncles. Doesn't matter who you are around you. Let's make it a prosperous country. Let's take care of each other. don't have to rely on mutual aid. Food banks, definitely mutual
Yeah,
aid, right?
Cassandra is still in chat, and she's commented a lot on food banks of how she's calling it the Walmart effect.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we'll definitely have her on soon, and
Cassandra, gonna lovely
yeah,
have you on, and we'll continue this talk that we're having
yeah,
now. But again, if you're in a position of helping somebody out, if you see a post, if you are on social media, if you're on, I don't know, if you're on Blue Sky, if you're on Twitter, you're on any other platform, if you see a post onto Facebook, wherever you are on social media, if you see people reaching out for help, maybe they don't have anyone in their life that they know who to reach out to. I mean, they can't reach out to the government because the government's got putting a deaf ear and blind eye and saying, nope, nothing to see here. Anyway, if you need help, please help. And like, please help by reaching out to other people. And if those people that you're reaching out to, if you can actually reach out to the other person and help in return, you can
mhm.
change a person's life in so many positive ways. There's so much negativity in our world. Let's turn it into a positive thing. Let's make people's lives better in so many ways, because it puts less strain on our healthcare
Let's
system.
go full circle to the beginning of the show, Brent, when I had you muted to start the
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
And then I gave my example of the Popeye
yeah,
punch, punch, punch.
yeah.
We don't want any more punch, punch, punch from the government, right?
No more of that, and we can change things around. I mean, some of our members of parliament have been on their show before too, and they've also mentioned too, just tax the billionaires. It's not difficult. Prime Minister, it's not difficult to tax the billionaires, really, and premiers, it's not difficult. I always say, and I was talking to one of my neighbors before we sign out today, and this is kind of related to mutual aid. One of my neighbors who watches our show, Neil, every freaking time we have it on. And yeah, I know you're watching right now. Okay. So, for our conversation that I had this morning, he says it's not difficult. He says, in my country, like, people prosper where he came from. And he says, and they prosper. Canada, he says, Canada needs to wake up and actually take care of their citizens. That's the problem. He says,
Yeah,
they're too busy taking care of themselves, Brent. That is the
yeah,
problem. He says, so we should all benefit from the wealth that Canada needs to have. There's over, he says, anywhere between 30 to 50 billion dollars per year has been flushed away that could easily be generated back into Canada and taking care of our citizens.
yeah,
I always say, like I say, let's train our healthcare system. It improves a person's well-being, their mental health, their physical health, where they can live, where they grew up. They can be in the community that they want to be in.
yeah.
The old narrative is, well, Brent, Sonia, it's great that you're in Victoria. You can be close to the apartment buildings. You can come here anytime. Well, great for advocacy. Well, great. Well, I like to advocate to change things, but why do I need to keep trying to hold you account to change the rates if you're not even
Well,
going to change the rates? Oh, then
and again, to go back to my
yeah,
example of where the government tried so hard to get rid of my condo, they tried to kick me
yeah,
out of my own condo and
shame on them.
force me to sell it. I hate to think of the alternate reality. We talk about the blue pill or the red pill
Yeah,
to
yeah,
start
yeah.
the show. I
On, yeah.
hate to think about that alternate reality of like
Which rabbit hole do you want to go down?
how much more disconnected I would have been, how much
Oh
more
my God.
helpless I would have been, how much less support I would have had for Jake. Because I would have been away from my parents. I would have been away from my mother-in-law, who was amazing. I would have been away from so many supports that I knew, from so
Mhm.
many supports that my son already knew, even at a young age, and to have that all torn apart and said like, oh well, punch, punch, punch. That's not good enough. That's not good enough.
Well, that's what happened to Sonia. Is that, her GP is in the Fraser Valley, and
Yeah,
and I can't talk about medical stuff relating to her, but she needed to see her GP. Her GP was talking to her on the phone and said, "I'd love to see you, Sonia." But he knows she can't just come over from Victoria to come over to see him in person. Said, "Well, can you go to a clinic? Can you go to a walk-in clinic?" No. Like there's time that you show up there, you got to be there early in the morning, and when you get there early in the morning, if they've already booked up, like there is such a demand for these clinics. They're overwhelmed with the amount of people that don't have doctors, or there's a waiting list, or you phone up and sorry, we're not accepting any more patients for the day. Try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, so that's the frustrating part. And now, even if we could move back, the price of the housing is way more than what a whole
Yeah.
PWD check is.
Yeah.
So again, there's calls about modernizing our rates, and I'd love to have Mr. Leggett come on to our show
Yeah.
soon, and he'll talk about that. So you can maybe reach out to Jeff, and we'll get him
Sure.
talking about that too. And we'll have
Yeah.
Cassandra. Cassandra, you'll be the next one on our list, just so you know. Jeff, and then you'll be after that.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, whoever,
whoever.
whichever works out, we'll
Yeah,
see.
whatever works out. But
Whatever
I mean,
works out.
both of you, we're going to have you on.
Yeah.
And, also I encourage anyone who would love to come on. If you're in the PWD community in Canada and, you want your voice to be shined, and I mean, you're the guest and you're the center, you're the number one guest on the show. So you will get the priority of how you want the show to go. Like, so it's narrowed right around you, like based on your experience. And we've said this before, and Neil, you could probably let the guests know
Yeah,
how.
well, yeah. I mean, we do have to punch
Yeah,
out, but
yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah. The whole podcast has always been about sharing stories, and we always try to highlight each guest that we have on and tailor
yeah,
it to the guest. But
absolutely.
let's get
Yeah.
out of here, Brent.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Yeah, of mutual aid. Does it really have to be that bad? I mean, the blue pill, the red pill, which angle do you go down? I mean, I say don't take any of them because they're not worth
Yeah.
it, right? But if you
No.
need help, please just keep posting your lists out, your asks, and hopefully people that are generous are out there that can actually help you until we can keep putting more pressure on our provincial and federal government to do the right thing and raise our rates and taxing the multi-billionaires. I mean, they want to do business in Canada. They need to pay their fair share of tax. So it's not difficult to do. It's not rocket science. A 2-year-old could even figure that one out, right? So, but anyway, I hope everyone has a wonderful day and enjoy your weekend. And stay tuned till Monday is our next podcast. A little sneak peek, Neil.
Um, well, did we decide?
Yes.
Was it going to be about moving expenses and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, moving expenses, and then next Friday, so a week from today,
Yeah.
we're gonna have our great friend of the podcast, the 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 OG guest, of your Twitter space show. It's gonna be Cheryl Hardcastle, so she's gonna come
Yeah.
back again. So it's gonna be great to have her come on and talk.
It'll be the mystery show.
Mystery show. We never know what she's going to talk about, but it's gonna be great. Yeah.
Yeah, always look forward to having her on too, and many of you, if you want to reach out, we have ways of having you on. Where if you don't want your picture to be shown, we can actually just have audio. If you're
Yeah.
comfortable about being on candid camera,
It
just
can
like
just be like call in like a phone line. It can just be
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you could be like that. Yeah, I mean, if you're comfortable being on how you are now, just let us know.
Yeah.
Reach out to Neil, and yeah, he'll get you scheduled in. Until then, until our next podcast, have a great weekend, everyone. And
And make sure you listen to the first 2 minutes where I had Brent muted at the beginning of the
he
show.
had, he had duct tape over my mouth, and so I was talking and nothing was coming out.
You really gotta get me fired, Brent. I don't know why I'm not fired yet. You got to get me fired.
We'll have to clone him. We'll have to clone him. Anyway, take care, everyone.